Welcome to Nerd Positive. This is a Facebook and YouTube live podcast show that celebrates everything we feel is awesome in the hopes of spreading our fandom to you. After the live show, you can catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere you find your audio fix. Each week, we dive into the hearts of fandoms, celebrating the things we love. From sci-fi to fantasy, movies to TV shows, and comics to video games, we explore the universes that have captured our imaginations and made us lifelong fans in our search for the quest for the best. Expect passionate discussions, in-depth analyses, side quests, and maybe even a few things hiding under the bed. Whether you're a diehard yippee-ki-yay motherfucker or just dipping your toes in the fandom waters, Nerd Positive is the place to be. I'm your host, the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome, Bradley Butin, and with me every week, I have the unverified twin of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in the eyebrows, the unverified twin of Dave Bautista in the head wrinkles, the unverified twin of Carl Weathers in the mustache,
the flavor saver,
the unverified twin of Tony Todd in the earlobes. Or I'm sorry, not two, the earlobe. And the unverified twin.
Never to the left. The right one, never to the left. Yes, sir.
It's like Twix. It's like a Twix.
Boom.
Yeah. And the unverified twin of Shamar Moore in the nipples.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brian S. Dennis, and this week the S stands for Rorschach, and that's going to come up here in just a moment. So here's the playlist where we're going to go through this week's show, and we first off want to thank all of you for, number one, partaking in the fandemic and now being completely nerd positive. So here's what we're going to cover. We're going to cover our favorites of the week. We'll do that momentarily. These may be movies, they may be comics, they may be games, they may be shows, they may be all of the above. And then we're also going to end the pod with talking about our favorite people of the week, our better than us humans of the week. We're also going to do a rundown of the things that we find, you know what, not so great. So we're the Nerd Positive Podcast. So just because we always try and keep it positive, but it's the end of the year. So at the end of every year, we talk about things as a year-end review list. And this week, we're going to talk about the worst movies that we saw this year. And I'm curious how many of those we have some overlapping on. And of course, we've got some games where we try and stump each other and our nerd philosophy. So Brad, I'm ready to go, tag team partner. Are you, sir?
I am ready to go. Brian, did you get a chance to catch any of the lunch break reviews I did this week? I did smoke. I got a name for them now. The shorter ones.
Yes,
those are the lunch breaks. The smoke breaks.
I did catch one, and it's gonna elude me which one did you do? Maybe
I did Absolute Wonder Woman 2, Absolute Superman 2, Justice League Unlimited, Black Canary 1, and Skeleton Crew and Creature Commandos.
That's the one that I caught, was Skeleton Crew Creature Commandos. So actually, let's talk a little bit more about those. So both of those made my favorite shows of the week. I checked out episode 1 of both of them, and I'm halfway through episode 2 of Creature Commandos. Work got really busy. It is finals week, so I've been grading papers. Yes, folks, I am of the multitudes I do, I'm an instructor. So yes, all of this hits the classroom. So my students, giving a shout out to them. But with that being said, what are your thoughts on both those shows, sir?
Oh, dude, we'll get right into my favorites. So
let's do it.
My favorites of the week are for TV shows. I have to go with Star Wars Skeleton Crew, Creature Commandos, and I finally got through from season 1, and I got through the first episode of season 2 because there was no way I was gonna stop after the end of that.
Yes, sir.
When I saw that bus pull up, I'm like, "Oh, you didn't." You got me to watch season 2, episode 1 right now.
Without getting into spoilers, the folks on the bus, there's 2 in particular. No, I'm lying to you, 3. There's 3 in particular members of that bus crew that change everything. Like the foreshadowing. And when I say everything, I mean everything.
Everything.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, dude. Man, and if you want to know my full thoughts on Star Wars, I won't give it to you here. But Star Wars Skeleton Crew, I put it on the lunch break point system, and I put Creature Commandos on there as well. This was a return to form for Star Wars for me
Very,
after the how despicable Acolyte was.
yes.
This reminded me
Oh my
of
goodness.
being a kid playing with Star Wars toys and in my imagination going on doing the Star Wars thing. That is exact. This was part Stranger
Mhm.
Things, part Goonies, and part Star Wars. And
It had me, not to step on your
no, you're
review,
good.
but it had me well, so again, not to be spoiler alert, so the very beginning was very interesting, and I love the
Yeah,
little werewolf guy.
yeah,
But when they give us Win, when they show us Win in just a bedroom, think about
mhm,
how all the Star Wars movies and TV shows, how often do we get to see a major Star Wars character hanging out in a messy bedroom, then making cereal? Like, we
yeah,
don't, and it took me back. Again, I remember I actually, because I wound up seeing Return of the Jedi on television before I went to the movies and actually saw. I'm sorry, I'm lying to you. I saw Empire Strikes Back on television before I actually went to the movies and saw Return of the Jedi. So my and I think I returned. So my introduction to Star Wars are actually episode 5 on television, then episode 4 on television, and then episode 6 in the movie theater. So I was catching up. But anyway, again, it took me back to being a kid and just and I remember I had the toys, so I really was into the movie. I had the toys, like I had the Speedster, I had the
yeah.
X-Wing, and it showed. And that's honestly no fault, to be fair. We do try and keep it positive when people have criticized shows like Andor and Acolyte, because it takes some of the kid wonder of Star Wars out of it. Like, Star Wars has always had a darker side. Like, there's
Yeah.
Vader and the Sith as a whole, right? But it was that kid wonder that we grew up with that make the adult fans of Star Wars. No one generally becomes a fan of Star Wars at 30 years old. You became a
Hmm.
fan of Star Wars at 8 years old, and you're still a fan, right?
Yeah.
So this is what this was. This is like, let's bring back the reason that kids, like I said, it was Goonies, it was Stranger Things, it was definitely Star Wars, but the adventure of those kids. And at the end of the first episode, when you see the hyperdrive and the 4 kids yelling, Neil is my favorite character. I love Neil. Like, just that in the teaching, you already, and again, it's cool to have foreshadowing that you know how it's gonna work out.
Hmm.
Like, okay, like, it was so great. And even the dad with the spacecraft and the end of that, and it was just with updated, really good visual special effects.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So yes, I gotta say, um, uh, with only 2 episodes being dropped so far, this, like you said, this goes back to that wonder of Star Wars. Even with Mandalorian, people criticize, but think about the reason that Mandalorian was so popular was they gave us Grogu. I refuse to call him Baby Yoda, but that piece that we all that get kids go, I want to watch this, right? So they gave us
Yeah.
that. So good on for them. Good on for that one.
Yeah. And then Creature Commandos. When I was going over reviews, I was like, come on, guys, you guys are being really, really dumb here.
Yeah.
Creature Commandos, you know what you're getting
Sure.
when you signed up for it.
100%.
James Gunn doing Creature Commandos as an animated show.
Yeah.
You know
And
what's going to
loved
happen.
himself enough to put himself in his credits. I love
Right?
that. I'm gonna put myself in my own credits.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's why it was good. I really liked it. I thought it was really good.
Yep.
And then From is just
Yeah.
kill it. Oh my God.
The only ththing that would have made Creature Command, and this is just me being somewhat silly, the only thing that I think would have made Creature Commandos better is because I think Sean Gunn voices GI Robot
Yep.
and also voices Weasel.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, in our age bracket, it was so obvious. Instead of having Sean Gunn voice Weasel, because Weasel doesn't have any actual spoken words, they should have had to be Pauly Shore.
Dude. Yes.
Just
Yes.
for the grunting of Weasel, it should have been flipping Pauly
Yeah.
Shore.
And then he could just be like, all of a sudden, like, hey, chilling with the weeds.
At some point, just have him talk. But
Yeah.
I agree with you. I loved all the things with Rick Flag Sr. And it made me want to go, back and watch the Suicide Squad, because
Yeah.
it's a complete, it is a sequel to the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, very well done.
Other than
Go
that,
ahead.
my
You said from
game.
season 1. Yeah. Oh, give me your game.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
game. Marvel Rivals and Hogwarts Legacy
Okay.
comic, dude. Black Canary #1 is
Okay.
probably. I actually scored it perfect, over perfect on my
Really?
lunch break point system, dude. This is written by Tom King, and it went to a place I thought it was just going to be kind of like a beat me up,
Hmm.
because it's about Black Canary versus Lady Shiva and what would
Okay.
happen. Well, it's a lot deeper than that, because I should have known better, because Tom King is freaking writing it,
Hmm.
and dude, it hits you in the feels, and you're like, okay, okay. It's one of the best things. The art is amazing. The story, I'm
Hmm.
invested in it. It's a damn near perfect comic book for me. Loved it so much. And then movie, I did watch a movie. I didn't watch anything in the theater this week.
Okay.
I did watch Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. It's streaming
Okay.
on Max now,
Okay.
and
What are your thoughts on it?
it's it's awesome,
Okay.
fantastic.
All
Yes,
right.
definitely watch it. You're gonna tear up a little bit,
Okay.
because that Superman is a big part of our lives. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah, it's great. Watch it. So,
For me, my same shows as favorites, again, Cruise Commandos, and Skeleton Crew. I will say what you're saying, how much you love the Black Canary. I just had a moment of, and I think probably age may not work out well depending on when you pick up the Dynaland story, but I always thought Kate Hudson would have made a fantastic
oh yeah, she would
Black
have.
Canary. But then the other piece of it is, I don't know if you've had a chance to watch it, but Watchmen Chapter 1 on Max is fantastic. I'm so excited for Chapter 2. I love the Watchmen movie that
Hmm.
came out, I think, in '09. And this is, if you're familiar with that movie, this is sort of a retelling of
Okay.
that, but it's a little, because it's animated visually, it's closer to the comic and what the miniseries that it's
Hmm.
based off of. And it actually, because they make it into a two-part movie, it actually delves a little deeper in some of the things that, I mean, the Watchmen movie was like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Some of the aspect, again, it's not a different plot. It's the same plot from the miniseries that was in the '09 live action movie, but it delves a little deeper in some of the things that you just didn't get a chance to see. It delves deeper into a lot of things regarding the comedian, Hooded Justice, and even Rorschach. It takes some of the scenes that you see in the '09 movie and
Hmm.
actually almost expands upon them, and it's incredibly well done. So I would definitely, if you've not had a chance to watch Watchmen Chapter 1, check it out. It is really well done. Again, it's a story that we all know, but
Hmm.
it's an amplified telling of it, and I really enjoyed it. So that's another one of my favorites of the week.
Man, it's got a really good voice cast, and I mean, like
And it
Katie
deserves,
Sackhoff is in there.
yes.
I mean, Troy Baker. I mean,
Hmm.
this guy's the who's who of the best voice actors out there.
It does.
Oh my god, yeah, I'll
So
definitely.
definitely check it out.
I saw it in there earlier
Yeah,
today. I'm like, oh
yeah.
shit,
It is.
another thing
It's
I gotta
definitely. It's
watch.
been out for a couple of weeks now. It's definitely worth the
Yeah.
watch.
So
Uh,
when does chapter 2 come out?
oh shoot! I just looked that up the other day. Give me like 5 seconds. I can take it. I think I even have it pulled up, even in my search. Because again, I was
Hmm.
really excited for that. So,
Oh,
chap
Titus Welliver is the voice.
yes,
Oh, that is
yes,
perfect.
yes. So let's see.
What?
So chapter 2. Chapter 2 was released. So
From
they
Mar-
so the
oh,
so if you wanna watch it now, you can get the DVD of it in the
okay.
digital format now. It doesn't say when it's gonna drop on Max, but chapter 2 did drop on November 26th. So chapter 2 is out there, so you can probably get it on Amazon if you
Okay.
want to stream it, but I'm sure it will be on Max sooner than later, given their partnership with DC. So
Oh, good.
yep.
Yeah. What else
So
what other favorites you got?
those were the big favorites of mine. I did though. I've been binging Great American Hero on Peacock just because we talked so much about last couple of weeks. Just absolutely love it, and because I got to babysit a 5-year-old over the weekend, been rewatching, and the movie that actually holds up is the Eddie Murphy Doolittle movies. They actually hold up really, really well. So I got to give him some love for that. And because I'm a person, anybody knows me, I don't sleep a lot. I actually rewatched Inception just because the dream within a dream within a dream of all the things, my friends. So yeah, but I gotta say again, Creature Commando, Skeleton Crew, and Watchmen Chapter 1 definitely won my weekend, and that's why the S stands for Rorschach, because they spend so much time in Chapter 1 from the perspective of Rorschach as the narrator and just showing what a broken cat Rorschach is. So gotta love that. By the way, Mr. Haley, who also plays Freddy Krueger in the updated telling of Nightmare on Elm Street, he actually makes Freddy Krueger look more rational when compared to his portrayal of Rorschach. So just saying, if you can make Freddy Krueger look rational, you're doing a really good job. Really good job. And
go ahead. Is there a Freddy show in the works?
If there isn't, I
heard that Rob Zombie.
I would love a prequel regarding how Now, first of all, Freddy Krueger is not a good story, right? I mean, if you know anything about the story of Mr. Krueger, but I would love if we got a prequel that actually would end with the burn. Again, if you know Freddy, you know kind of where his story kicks off for the Nightmare on Elm Street series. I would love a telling of it. So again, Jackie Earle Haley, who plays Rorschach in the 2009 Watchmen movie, actually picked up the mantle from Robert Englund. Let's see here if we have anything new about a prequel. I think that would be, or anything working with the show. I don't see anything currently. Hang on. I just saw something really quick. I saw Rob Zombie's name.
Yeah, apparently DJ Qualls could be the next Fred for the Fred series,
which would make sense if
it would.
I mean, he's great in Hustle and Flow and a few other things, so I can see that. He got kind of unassuming cat that really. I mean, Freddy Krueger is basically Dexter. I mean, he's like this unassuming cat, almost like the. Another thought process would be the gentleman that played Riddler in the Gotham series. He would, I think he could do, again, that unassuming, but very much that piece of it. I just found here though, in 2023, so last calendar year, they found the remnants of a prehistoric wasp, and based on because it has such long claws, this prehistoric wasp was named after Freddy Krueger.
That is freaking awesome.
So yeah,
that is the best thing I've heard.
When they found the fossil of this prehistoric wasp, it apparently has such long claws that they actually named it after our boy Freddy Krueger.
I love that so much. Oh boy! All right, man. Yeah, definitely check out the Christopher Resource Superman.
Definitely. Absolutely,
and if you're, dude, the Absolute comics are so good.
All right.
The Absolute Superman, it is a very, very fresh take on Superman, and it's needed because Superman kind of sucks. Of course, like he can do anything and whatever, but like he needs a fresh start, and the Absolute world gives it to him. So yeah, dude, once you read them, we'll do. We can jump on.
I will catch up, and then we'll definitely we'll unpack them together, my friend.
All right, man. Are you ready to get into the worst movies of 2024?
Let's do it, sir. Let's do it. All right. So if
you want to go one at a time?
Yeah. I did 10. How many did you do?
I got 10.
All right. So I'm going to give you mine. I'm going to give you my quick thoughts on them. Why? Okay. So I went by the top 10 worst movies that I saw. And so again, as always, Brad and I don't discuss our list other than what we're going to talk about. So here's my top 10 from 10 to worst. And I'm thinking, just knowing us, I'm thinking I don't know if I think our top spots, I don't know if we'll have the same number one, but I'm thinking that my number one is also in your top 3. I don't know if it'll be your top one. I bet you my number one is in your top 3.
I'm going to guess that ours are probably pretty similar.
All right. So here's my number 10. And this was a movie that, and part of the reason why these were my worst, not were they bad, but also because I had hope for them. So number 10 is going to be Role Play with Kaylee Cuoco from The Big Bang Theory and our boy David Oyelowo, who we know as Bass Reeves. I loved the casting, and it was a movie that I just couldn't get into. Okay. So that's my number 10. What about yours?
My number 10 has the color purple all over it, and that is Harold and the Purple Crayon.
I thought you were going Joker too. I was like, really? But no, okay. But yeah,
that's in there.
He really doesn't wear purple really in the movie. You know, go ahead. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So there's not much to say about it, man. I didn't watch it till it came out on Netflix, and I never even finished it. I mean, like it didn't keep my attention.
Role Play very similar to me. I just couldn't. I mean, I think I got through roughly half, and I'm like, you know what? If I got to work this hard to watch it, never mind.
Yep, exactly.
My number 9. Again, I knew it wasn't going to be a great movie, but I really enjoyed him in Soul Planes. I thought I would like him in this, but Underdogs with Snoop. Just couldn't get into it.
Couldn't get into it. Okay. My number 9. I didn't really have high expectations, but I had more expectations than what I got.
Okay.
The Garfield movie. When I'm thinking,
I didn't even see that, but how was that? Yeah.
Chris Pratt as Garfield was perfect. You had Samuel L. Jackson in there as well.
Sure.
And it definitely was geared towards small kids. There wasn't like any adult humor. I mean, even jokes, it could go more than one way. I mean, it was straight up like 5 and under. Hey, Leia. Leia, we're talking about the worst movies of the year. What are a couple of movies that you did not like? What movies did you not like?
Daddy! He's eating the extra curly one. Give me the headphones. I was hungry with that one, I was saving it. He's giving you some ASMR. So what movies were there?
What are some movies you did not like?
Borderlands. Joker. I don't like Joker. That movie, I fell asleep more than half of the movie. Because it was boring, and it was bad, and it was overrated. Kind of like the movie 16 Candles.
Like old school 16 Candles?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Go.
No.
Tell Brian bye.
No.
I'm going to eat the other curly one now.
It's boring.
Fair.
Like, the lovebirds don't even talk. Like, they're barely talking the entire time. I'm plus, her hair is a mess. I don't like it. Hi.
Tell Brian bye-bye.
No. Why do you like it so much?
16 Candles is a classic.
It's a great movie.
Have you ever seen the movie For Keeps?
Yes.
Maybe.
It's
one is
okay.
a lot better.
It's not better. It's a good movie. It is not better than 16 Candles.
It is definitely better.
Okay, I'm talking to someone that thinks Grey's Anatomy is good, so it's not a thing.
Hey. I'm watching Gossip Girl.
That's not helping.
Okay, go watch Gossip Girl.
You smell like alcohol.
Because I'm drinking beer.
That's disgusting.
Okay, well, you think that. All right, kiddo.
Kids, never drink any alcohol like he did when he was 11.
12, but that's okay. All right.
I was doing things worse than that at
Stay
12,
healthy,
bro,
drink
so it's
water and
all
sex.
good.
Yeah. All right, bye. Say bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, people.
Bye-bye.
But I did get the curlier of the Frenchies, so.
We're not
Fair.
talking about that.
Where'd you get those from? Are those home or you got them from a store? Like, I mean, did you go fast food or make them at home?
No, I got them the big bag of the Arby fries at Hy-Vee.
Very good,
They're
dude.
plus.
Next time you're at Hy-Vee, if they have fries from a place called Checkers, get them. Those are fantastic.
Oh yeah.
It's worth the trip to Davenport just to get fresh checkers, man. Seriously.
Really?
Yes.
I don't remember the last time I was at Davenport. Okay, well, apparently you and I are going to be taking a road
You
trip
got a road
sometime.
trip to Davenport, my friend. It's worth
That's
it.
right.
All right. Yes, sir. Okay. So I gave my number 9. I think you gave your number 9. So what? My number 8.
Yes.
This one, the only reason that is lower on this is just a bad movie. The only reason that is lower on my list and higher is because I didn't have high expectations coming in, so it really didn't let me down. But again, another one I just couldn't get through is Ricky Stenicki with John Cena. I want to give John Cena acting credits. I really liked, obviously, we love him in Peacemaker.
Yeah.
I really liked him in Daddy's Home too. He's actually has some good flicks, but he just couldn't take it with this one. All right, so you're number 8.
My number 8, we kind of alluded to it earlier. This is a movie that, man, I did have some expectations. This is a Netflix release.
Okay.
And they were kind of billing it as what a Zack Snyder Star Wars should be.
Yes.
And that is Rebel Moon Part 2.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, it just, if they would, I don't know. And I haven't watched the director's cut, but I know it's longer and apparently it's a lot better.
So that always makes me upset because the same deal with Justice League, because Justice League, the director's cut, or the Snyder cut as they call it, is much better. I'm like, if it's much better, that's what we should be released. Like, don't give me a shorter movie that's crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, like even if 20 minutes, but if it makes the movie better, that's cool. Now we've seen some directors cut that a 20 minute is just 10 more minutes of a car chase, or 5 minutes of extra exposition. Or, hey, Peter Jackson, you've made far more money, making far more movies than I ever have. But the fact that some of his director's cuts are like an hour plus longer, it's like, yeah. But, geez, but some of these things, Snyder just apparently, or figure out how to make your vision fit in a 2.5 hour time frame. All right.
Yeah.
My number 7, talk about Netflix direct release. Again, because I am a big fan of Stephen Amell. I actually like the first version of this, but the sequel, as we talked about, sometimes if you're making a sequel, don't. So Code 8 Part 2 just let me down. Code 8 was actually really good.
Yeah,
Code 8 Part 2, not very good at all. So again, sometimes you just should employ family. Give me your give me your number 7, sir.
Man, I'm excited to see what he does with Suits LA.
Yes.
But right, I'm like, okay, Code 8 was like, should have stopped. And then there's like a short thing. Either turn it into a series and develop the things, or just let it go. My number 7 had Channing Tatum in it, and you can't blink once, you have to blink twice. Blink twice if this movie sucks. Yeah. I don't even know what to say. It was just, I just could not get into it. I don't know who this movie was made for. I don't know. I mean, and I wasn't alone. People just, they didn't like it, and neither did I. So
Channing Tatum needs a really good co-star to make a movie work. I mean, there's some folks that can carry a movie, and this is not, again, Channing Tatum has made far more money, making far more movies than I ever have. But just my quick thing, if he's got a strong co-star, but if he's the lead, it just, he's great. He's great as Gam. He's in the movie maybe 15 minutes. He's great in The Hateful Eight, maybe in that movie 10 minutes. I really liked him in the 21 Jump Street because he's got Jonah Hill to play off of. The Magic Mike movies, not necessarily my cup of tea, but they were enjoyable flicks. He had an ensemble. This cat, if he's the star, or maybe Candace needs to maybe step up. All right. Okay. I'm sorry, folks.
He needs a good Max show or Netflix show. Or something like that. That he can just do everything that he wants to do.
And if he can't if he couldn't make it work with Jenna Dewan. But if you go from Channing Tatum to Nathan Fillion, I know it's fairly fictitious. Smart.
Yeah. It's like a rookie move.
Ha! It's almost like, by the way, one of my favorite ringtones is Daddy Cop from The Rookie. Oh my God. It is the best. It is. But at the same time, I want Nathan Fillion, if he was just hanging out and like there was a power outage, I want him to go, and Blackest Day and Darkest Night and just run with it and just
Oh
run
yeah.
with it.
And
Yeah,
he would.
he
You
would.
know that he's known that for years.
Yes, yes. Again, this is the quick tangent. We talked about this, I think, last week or the week before. When you can tell when celebrities are fans of their product, especially in this type of genre. Again, we've talked before about Channing Tatum as Gambit, Henry Cavill getting the joke for the Calverine, Favreau and Filoni with the Star Wars stuff, and obviously Ryan Reynolds and how much love he has for Deadpool. That's why those things work on not only a commercial level, a lot of people go and watch them, but as nerds, as fans of it, we get all the little jokes, right? Because they know it and they're right there with us. So there's that to be said. All right, I'm gonna jump to my number 6. This was a movie that I don't even know. You talked before about who was this movie made for. Why on earth we even made this movie? But it came out, I watched it, and it sucked bad. Mother of the Bride with Brooke Shields and Benjamin Bratt. I love the Steve Martin Mother of the Bride movies. I'm sorry, Father of the Bride movies. And this should have been a Lifetime movie. If it would have been I mean, seriously, it was one of those, there's nothing offensive about it, but there's no reason it should have been made, because there wasn't a clamoring of Father of the Bride that probably was made 20 plus years ago easily. Hey, let's do this from the other perspective. And again, Benjamin and Brooke Shields, again, there's not a thing offensive about it, but it should have been, it literally was, it wasn't even like, we talk about movies that are made direct for streaming, that you go, hey, maybe it's not quite box office ready, or someone's got a really lucrative deal with Netflix or Prime. But this legit was the old school Sunday night movie of the week. Should have been a Lifetime flick. So, all right, sir, you're number 6.
My number 6 is something that I thought was going to be a lot better.
Okay.
And it didn't hit, because I am a fan of Amy Winehouse. I like her stuff, but the movie was pretty freaking bad.
Did it make
Back
you go,
to black?
No.
Yeah. I mean, okay, Brian, let's make an Amy Winehouse biopic, right? And then title it an AC/DC song, because that makes sense.
To be fair, her album that dropped, that was popular, that has the song Rehab, it is actually titled Back to Black. So we got to give her that. That is the album title. But you're right. It told the AC/DC song. That's what we know primarily.
Yeah.
And, it's just... Plus, I think they should have just cast Lindsay Lohan as her. Just go like, hey, if we want someone that's drugged out, let's do Lindsay. Like, let's at least make someone, kind of like when you cast Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. Like, So, an incredibly intelligent, incredibly successful, broken human being who enjoys. By the way, if you don't know the from the comics, the origin story of why he has the reactor in his chest, it's a darker story than. Trust me, when they made it like he was kidnapped by the 10 Rings and there's a terrorist plot, and that's why he has a reactor in his chest. That was the happier version of that origin story. So look up the real Tony Stark story. All right.
In Marvel, the fact that Marvel hasn't gone back and just released a super graphic 10-issue miniseries that is hard R is beyond me. And the Marvel, if you're listening, we know you are. Do it.
By the way, Marvel, if you think about characters, again, this is just Brian Dennis's perspective. As we know, the X-Men products are coming out sooner than later. Give us characters that I want you to spend more time on, because as a hardcore X-Men fan, I was so it was X-Men and Avengers. So that was Marvel. So I like Spider-Man, I like Wolverine, but if you ask me the X-Men, the Marvel books that I really loved, it was Avengers #1 and X-Men as a team. Number 2. And the fact that Angel and Iceman have gotten really shortchanged in the history of the X-Men really makes me a little sad. Wolverine is everywhere, and Wolverine's Wolverine, right? But the fact that they really left out, and they really shortchanged Beast a bit too, but Iceman and Angel never really got their fair due as 2 of the original 5 X-Men. I want that. So as you're thinking about doing something, give me Bobby Drake, give me Warren Worthington III, and give me good versions of them. By the way, our boy Glenn Powell, who we think should be in everything, especially Booster Gold, I think would be an excellent Angel. By the way,
He would, and I when you said that, I don't know if there's ever been an Angel solo run.
there has not been that I can think
Marvel
of.
Comics. Okay, it looks like there was.
Okay.
There looks like. Oh, the Angel. It's a golden angel. Okay, so that's
Okay.
yeah. I don't think so.
Yeah.
There's not one for. So man, anybody, Tom King, go to Marvel and write it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. What
I mean,
about
of those
Marvel's
original X-Men, his power, I mean, his story and his powers, he basically was the one, before they really leaned into Xavier and Xavier's wealth, he was basically the rich brat that bankrolled the X-Men, you know. So Bobby and Bobby Drake, again, before they made him an Omega level mutant later on, Iceman Iceman's original form looked like a snowman, right?
Yeah.
So it always was Cyclops, Jean Grey, Beast coming in after that, and then you got like Wolverine, then you got Emma. You know, you started adding. You got Nightcrawler. You got that second generation X-Men, the darker X-Men, which really a lot of popularity. But again, before I go too nerd deep, you definitely gotta give us an Iceman, give us an Angel. Just give us a origin story with that original 5 X-Men. That again is what Brian Dennis would like. All right.
You know, so there is 2 Icon Icemans comics. One is X-Men Iceman, one is X-Men Icon Iceman, but he's never had his own comic run, which is crazy because he was created in 1963.
Yeah, he's always been an ancillary character, even in Spider-Man His Amazing Friends, which was one of the first shows that made me really into comics in this sort of genre. It was Spider-Man, Firestar, The Will They Want They. It was moonlighting for kids, and then Bobby Drake's is kind of there. So I think Miss Lion. Did you like that deep dive? I think Miss Lion from Spider-Man's Amazing Friend was actually more popular than Iceman. All right,
man, that's too bad. Okay. I mean, I guess apparently you just need to let it go, man.
I refuse. I will die on this hill, man. Okay. Number 5 for me, I'll just make it quick. The Strangers, Chapter 1. Rennie Harlan, who's an excellent director, could have done better. And by the way, it was a movie it's similar to Mother the Bride. There wasn't a big clamoring for Strangers Chapter 1. All right, sir.
So I was gonna put that on my list.
Yeah.
But I ended up not, just because I kind of want to see the next part.
Sure.
But you're right. Nobody was asking for a new Strangers to be rebooted into a multi-part movie.
By the way, we don't need another Purge movie either, if anyone's thinking about that.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 things. Purge, Strangers, Quiet Place. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. I really enjoy The Quiet Place. We're good.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think they'll ever be able to top Day One.
Day One was so good.
Day One will probably be my top 5. When I sit down and think about my favorite movies of 2024, we can get into it a little bit, but that's in my brain.
Day One was so flipping good.
Yeah.
Day One was so. And again, there's just some people that just get it.
Yeah.
And know how to make really good movies, and again know how to. How can I say this? Know how to make, on some level, popcorn type horror in those things, but also make it where people. And John Straczynski again is one of them. I mean, the guy makes good movies. Still, I don't think you can go wrong with Paulo Pascal. I was still really rooting for him to be the main canon Mr. Fantastic, but that's okay. But again, Quiet Place 2, and Quiet Place Day One are just, the premise is great and the execution.
Yeah.
Because think about something that could have been really bad. Hey, we have these alien creatures and you can't make noise. And that could have been crap.
Yeah.
And it's suspenseful and all these things. And just again, we do a podcast, right? You and I talk for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, how long we just keep going for, because again, we're free. Think about just if you lived in a world, I'm someone that always has background music or a television or just my own noise. That costs you your life. And even the idea of looking at deftness and all those things was fantastic. So I haven't made my best of list yet, but I guarantee as well, Quiet Place Day One will definitely be on it. All right, so I think we're up to your number 5, my friend.
Yep. My number 5 was a movie I wanted to be good, and then it just felt really, really generic, and that was Tarot.
Fair.
Tarot. It was just a generic. You don't even need to watch it, and you know what's going to happen in 5 minutes. 10 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And so that's why I made my list. Man, it was just
Agatha all along made Tarot more suspenseful than Tarot did. Yeah.
You're right about that.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't think I told you, I definitely did finish Agatha all along, and seeing the end makes going back and watching the end and I don't know why my head didn't get based on the WandaVision. If you watch it through, then you go back to the beginning and it makes more sense. Same deal with Agatha all along. Watch it through, then go back to the beginning. And I love the development of, again, spoiler alert, I love the development, even though they don't name him Wiccan, I love the development of the Wiccan character. So
yeah.
Do you think, let's take a quick tangent, because I feel, and I haven't been paying attention to the message board or anything that Marvel may have dropped, but you look at, again, post Endgame, there's been a definite push of bringing magic more into the MCU, or things that will be perceived as magic. So you've got Shang-Chi, you've got obviously the implementation of Wong and things such as, by the way, he's still She-Hulk. So you've got Wong both in Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, as well as his appearances in She-Hulk. You have with Ned, the guy in the chair from the third Spider-Man movie. You've got America from, again, Doctor Strange 2. Then you've got Agatha all along, not only with Agatha, but also with Wiccan. You've got all these things. You got Carmitage, you've got Shang-Chi, you've got Wiccan, you've got Agatha all along. And by the way, Wanda is still out there. You can't tell me the Wanda story is truthfully done. Do you think, and there's still that undercurrent with Thor, do you think we're going to get a full-on Marvel jumping into magic, either show or movie?
No, I don't, because I don't think it's successful enough.
Okay.
I think that Loki was a big part of that.
True.
And I think that they wanted it to be big, but Kang failed, and all the magic that they're trying to introduce, failed. I think that we're gonna be, they're course correcting, and everything that we're gonna get is gonna be pretty much the exact opposite moving forward.
Okay.
Except I think we're gonna get new Avengers.
And I'm curious. And do you think we'll get a Young Avengers or some iteration of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I think that's gonna be a show. Well, I know it will, because Miss Marvel showed up for Kate Bishop, sitting in the chair.
True. So that's what, and so that is, and Young Avengers also a series that I just looked up. Young Avengers dropped in 2013. It does not feel like it's been 12 years.
Really?
Well, 11 going on 12 years. Young Avengers #1. I'm sorry, I'm lying to you. Young Avengers concluded in 2013. The first issue of Young Avengers was April of 05. So 19, almost 20, closer to 20 years than 19 years at this point.
That's awesome.
And so then the other piece, again, Agatha all along, which we can sit down and unpack, especially since they don't really have a speedster in the MCU. They've had a couple versions of Quicksilver, but they've not, through various ways, they've not featured Quicksilver. Do you think now, with them looking for Tommy, do you think we're going to get a full-on version of Speed in a future product?
Oh yes, absolutely. Okay. I don't think they can get to Young Avengers without it.
Fair.
And because we know Aaron Taylor Thomas or Anna Taylor Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not Quicksilver. He's Kraven the Hunter.
Yes.
Yeah. Which do you want to see that this weekend?
Yeah. Let's check it out. Yeah, let's check it out.
Let me know, and I'll grab tickets for us for Friday or something.
Perfect. I'm watching to see how bad it's gonna suck. I'm just
dude. The people that I know that have watched it,
say
it's good.
there's nothing that Sony has done other than Venom, and Venom had its moments as well. But we're not finished our list. I don't want to prime up too much, but given yeah, I hope it's good. Especially because it's Russell Crowe. By the way, The Exorcist, I don't know if it's on your list. Exorcist with Russell Crowe almost made my list, but it didn't quite. But let's just jump ahead here. So I gave you my number 5. So here's my number 4. Again, not that I was expecting a lot, but I thought it would at least be funny with Jerry Seinfeld and Melissa McCarthy. Especially with Melissa McCarthy, and it wasn't. Unfrosted. I was not expecting a lot, but when you have two very funny people, especially Melissa McCarthy, who I really enjoy, I will admit I enjoy when she's serious more than funny, because I think she's a really good dramatic actress. But Unfrosted was just unwatchable. It was unwatchable.
Awesome. So we are on number 4, right?
Yes, sir. You're number 4.
My number 4 is a movie I was pretty excited for.
Okay.
And it has Adam Driver in it.
Okay.
And it was so bad. Megalopolis.
Ooh, yeah. I didn't even watch it because I heard such horrible things from you and others. I was like, it's not even worth my time. I'll save my money.
So, yeah. Don't even. So here, okay, I get what they were trying to do. The visuals are stunning. Like,
okay.
As a matter of fact, I think it could get an award for the cinematography. But man, like you can't start acting normal and talking normal, and then all of a sudden break into this Shakespearean freaking monologue.
No,
it takes you out.
No,
it takes you out of the movie fog. It's just like, oh my god! Like I'm when it happened for the first time, I'm like sitting here. I'm like, I am invested. I mean, this is like 5 minutes in. I'm like,
sure,
okay, cool. This is cool. Yeah. Everything looks awesome.
I got you.
You know, I'm in the theater. I'm in the movie fog. I'm giving like a 4 for movie fog right now.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there's this huge freaking 3.5 minute monologue in Shakespearean, and I'm like, oh. That's what this is.
And we're done.
Yep.
And we're done.
Checked out.
Yep. Yeah. And when that happens, you can't get back into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just can't. You can't pick up the momentum.
Yeah.
All right. So this is one that we've already talked about a little bit. This, I think, is our first time we're going to get to a movie that we both had mentioned. Rebel Moon 2. Ugh. Then I got nothing more to add than ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. Just again, we said this in our pre-chat before we hopped online. Zack Snyder, just stop. Stop at this point. Like, you've had so many stinkers. Just stop, my friend. It's just yeah. Just,
I'm gonna take a look at something.
All right.
I'm gonna look at what he has upcoming.
By the way, while you're doing that, I looked at Samuel Jackson's filmography the last couple of years. As he's the godfather of the show, and we will always love you, Sam, and the L stands for Sam's had a bit of bad luck. I mean, he's struggled. If you look at Samuel Jackson's movies that are not based on they place within the MCU, he's had. I mean, and you could say there were mixed reviews on the Marvels and on Secret Invasion, but definitely when you look at his movies, he's really kind of had a run here. Of the last, I'm pulling it back up here. So we just go 20 again. If I take out Marvel, if you go back to 2023, The Kill Room didn't really do anything. Argyle was bad. Damage, I didn't see. The Garfield movie, we talked enough about that. The Piano Lesson didn't do well. Unholy Trinity has really good reviews, but hasn't really done anything marketing wise. I mean, it just dropped about 2 months ago, but 2 months in movie time is a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, Sam. I mean, again, versus if you looked at his stuff before that, between pretty much all the Disney money between the MCU and Star Wars. And even movies like, aside from that, you've got Shaft, you've got Glass, you got Incredibles 2, you got Kong Skull. I'm speaking things that are not either anything to the MCU or Star Wars. By the way, a very under appreciated movie, Miss Peregrine's Home for
Oh yeah,
Peculiar Children. Love that movie.
yeah.
There's so many great movies he did. The Hateful Eight. Basically anything he does with Tarantino is going to be great. But just like, he's really hit a bit of a snag here. But you were looking up something, my friend. What were you looking up?
So I was looking up the upcoming movies with Zack Snyder. He's got
All right.
4 upcoming things. He's an executive producer in Army of the Dead, Lost Vegas.
Okay.
He is a producer in Planet of the Dead. He is a
I'm assuming these are
producer in-
related. Okay.
Yep. Until the Last One. That's another TV series. And then there's an untitled Zack Snyder LAPD action movie coming out, I guess. So that's what we got to look forward from Snyder.
Zack Snyder is starting to tiptoe himself into
Michael Bay.
That's Freudian slip. In the Michael Bay territory of, dude, you just make long movies that a lot of explosions. Like, there's no actual,
And you know what? And there are some, we were talking about this earlier too. There are times where everything just writes itself. You have those situations. Skeleton Crew, I mean, if you have a good idea, like, okay, kids lost in space, Force user Jude Law, is going to take on the thing to get him home. However, he's harboring some sort of secret thing.
Right.
I mean, that's obviously going to happen, you know, and they're, blah, 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 blah. And then like the whole treasure thing about the plan. I mean, so like that pretty much writes itself. What you're talking about, Megan Fox as AI.
So that's what we were talking about beforehand. So we were chatting on, there's a movie that just dropped on Netflix that, by the way, before you talk about, let's just say this. Thank you. For whoever, it's a twofold. A, whoever came with this idea, and B, whoever pitched this to Megan Fox. So the movie's called Subservience, and we live in a world that AI is becoming a real thing. So all the things, Brad, you and I were kids about machines and computers thinking, and that's, by the way, that's a big centerpiece to the Dune Prophecy show as well. The idea of thinking machines is in Terminator, and there's lots of other that too. I'm sorry, I can't do that, Hal. By the way, I saw a very cool commercial, and I want to give, because they're not a sponsor, but it was a cool commercial where it actually was to pitch like people, like a fitness company, but it take place in the future where this person has an AI and this little round ball, like the size of like a tennis ball. And basically the person is talking to the AI, basically going like, hey, play music or tell what I need from the grocery store. And they're getting ready to leave, and they tell the AI to unlock the door. And the AI goes based in the commercial goes, I'm sorry, I can't do that. And the person goes, why not? And it goes, you forgot your protein drink. And the person goes to the fridge and grabs it. So it's an ad for the protein drink. So they're going to add the protein drink, and they go, you're so dramatic, whatever the AI is called, and they unlock the door, and the person goes about their day. Like, that's really smart, though. It takes it one way and goes, and then it basically goes, AI isn't scary, but forgetting your like nutrition is, and But back to Subservience. So basically, you have AI and a full-bodied android, and it's Megan Fox looking like only Megan Fox can look, and does all the things. And it probably does not do. It is totally a movie written from the male gaze. But also it's like, yes, and you and I both talked about whether it is a great movie or a horrible movie. We're gonna watch it and probably watch it multiple times.
Yeah.
Including, I could watch it on mute and probably still enjoy it. So
I mean, it's Jennifer's body is a transformer.
By the way, the most far-fetched part of this entire movie, which is what I started to say now, like let's say for the podcast. So the idea of it is, the most far-fetched part isn't that you've got AI. It's not you have AI that lives in the body of Megan Fox. It is that you have AI that lives in the body of Megan Fox, who lives in a household with a single dad, and the single dad seems really uninterested.
Yeah.
At one point in the trailer, literally she says, and this is probably not a direct quote, but more or less this goes, he assigns her as he's leaving with his daughter, hey, can you basically clean up the house or something like that? And she goes, if that will make you happy, I'll follow any command. And I'm just like,
wow.
At that point, the kid is not going. Well, the kid is probably going to school. I'm just not going to work. Like, all right,
right. I'm calling in.
I'm not even necessarily stopping the car. I'm just slowing down. Roll with it. Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
At that point, I may take her to a fire station. Like, you live here now. It's just for the weekend. Dad, it's Tuesday, and it's just for the weekend. Okay, I'm going a little too far here. All right.
You're good.
Okay. All right. So I think we both covered our number 4s. Well, I did my number 3, which is Rebel Moon Part 2. Did you cover your number 3?
I didn't. My number 3 was a movie that I wanted to be really good because I love the video game, and it had a really good cast.
Mm-hmm.
It had Kevin Hart. But just didn't have a lot of heart. It had Kate Blanchett.
Nice. But it was major blank out. See what I did there?
Yeah, Borderlands, the movie,
yes.
Man, it was such a letdown.
If it made Leia's list of movies she hated as well, that should tell you something, right?
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, if you can't get a freaking 12-year-old with your movie,
based on a video game, come on.
Based
now.
on a video,
yeah, absolutely.
So.
12-year-olds like Doom, and Doom was bad, but 12-year-olds like Doom. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So my next one up is so as far as I went into the male horrible gaze when I mentioned Subservience, this was a movie that made it icky with just like how all the messages regarding a male-female relationship. It is Miller's Girl. If you want to watch a movie that will make your skin crawl, but not in a good way, watch Miller's Girl. Especially since I know you are a girl dad. This movie, starring Jenna Ortega, who we love in so many things, starring Martin Freeman, who Lala loved in his roles in both Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and in the Hobbit series. It's meant to be creepy, but it is so creepy that it's really uncomfortable without spoiling it, because these things actually do really happen in the world. And they took such I think, a dismissive eye to the subject matter. It just made me really uncomfortable. So, it's a bad movie. And with starring really good people, it's a bad flipping movie. All right, my friend, number 2 for you.
My number 2 had all the makings you had good actors.
Okay.
You had, and it was, okay, for one, it was a movie that nobody asked for.
Sure.
And you had good actors.
Mm-hmm.
You had very good looking actors.
So for all the reasons it should have been successful, but it wasn't. Okay.
But you're setting this in the Sony's Spider-Man verse.
Here it comes.
And you have Dakota Johnson.
Yes.
Who gets blind, and you have a villain who,
at the last minute, by the way. At the last minute. If this would have happened 45 minutes early, would have made a little. By the way, not only loses vision, but is okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she pulled a Wanda Maximoff. She lost vision,
but gained sight.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Yeah.
By the way, sorry, real quick. Where Agatha all along wanted me back, but when she dropped all the stuff about vision, like, who knows what happened to RoboPop? I'm like, that is Catherine Hahn. That is what I wanted. Episode 1. Thank you, Catherine Hahn. But please continue, my friend.
Oh man, no, just Madam Web was so bad. I mean, the tarantula, the voiceover was horrible. I mean, it was just poorly written.
Ezekiel is a character I actually really like. I mean, I'm a big fan of a lot of the supporting characters of Spider-Man. By the way, please give us. Is it Sydney Sweeney playing Black Cat upcoming? I think it is. I mean,
she should be.
I believe it is, and thank you. By the way, thank you. Thank you, whoever made that. I think I saw she plays Felicia, and I'm forgetting Felicia's last name, the alter ego of Black Cat. But
Felicia Hardy.
Yeah, thank you. But I do think I saw Sydney Sweeney, and I do think she is playing Black Cat upcoming.
Hmm.
And I don't know if it's a Sonyverse or an
It's a
actual.
rumor. Yeah, it's a rumor.
Oh, it's a rumor. Okay.
Yep.
By the
Yep.
way, by the way, this is one of those rumors that needs to be a real thing. At this point,
Mhm.
this might be one of the few times I'll go if the Sonyverse does a stand apart. And I think that's my biggest issue with the Sonyverse is you have Black Cat, Venom, now Craven the Hunter,
Mhm.
Madam Web. You have, and in fact, you do a movie with Ben Parker, May Parker. I think you actually do mention Peter Parker.
Well, he's born.
He's born.
Yeah.
And I understand the rights limit a lot of things you can do. I get that.
Yeah.
But at some point, it's just like, how the hell do you do this without? So I don't know. Very similar to I couldn't wait for Spider-Man, even though I think most of the Sony movies regarding Spider-Man were even the Andrew Garfield's. Upon further viewing, those movies, the Amazing Spider-Man 2, up until they tried to wedge Electro, Green Goblin, and again, spoiler alert, Gwen Stacy's death all in 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's where that movie lost me. Up to that point, that was not bad, right? And the first one wasn't bad.
No, the first one was good.
Yeah. So as much as excited as I was to see, Spider-Man returning to Marvel, hopefully we will get at some point Venom and Tom Hardy as Venom and all these things under the MCU at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Madam Web was just, it was what it was. You notice, and then I'll hush on this because this is actually your pick. But when you see multiple trailers and they always give you the exact same scenes, that's a sign the movie's bad. And they're giving you the only quality stuff, and it's in like 10-second snippets.
Yeah, when the best part of the movie is the like, okay, cool, all the girls, the Spider Girls, looked good in the suits,
which we get for what?
Damn. Yeah,
5
like
minutes
3
of
minutes.
the end of thank you. It's the very end of the movie.
Yeah, man. So I mean, like when you have that, when you have Sydney Sweeney as a Spider Woman or like Spider Woman or Spider Girl between the three of them, I mean, like, why, dude? Just do it. Just go there. Just
right. And this also, I'll say for another moment, but yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that
Number
bleeds
one.
into my number one with Madam Web. Madam Web. So that's why I said I would hold off to say this part, which is this. Again, Dakota Johnson has made far more money and far more movies than I ever have.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the deal. Know how I talked earlier in the pod about when you have folks like Channing Tatum and his instant playing Gambit, and Ryan Reynolds, who's the poster child with his versions of Deadpool, not the Deadpool and Wolverine Origins. One of the things that make a lot of these movies work as movies is you have actors and actors that are fans. Kamala Khan's portrayal. What doesn't work is someone takes a movie and just doesn't like the genre, the style, the character.
Mm-hmm.
Dakota Johnson has been very vocal that she never wants to make another superhero movie. She didn't like doing Madam Web. She didn't get the character. She's never read comics and had no interest. Okay, so here's the deal. Hugh Jackman never read comics, but he goes, when he was going to do Wolverine, did his research, and the comics aren't for everybody, but he became a fan. She didn't want to do this movie, and I'm sure they paid her a lot of money, and hey, good for you, boo-boo.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell.
Mm-hmm.
You could absolutely tell. It was a bad movie. Everything that would have made Madam Web interesting, even without Spider-Man, they didn't do it right.
Yeah.
Everything for even the cat, and I will give Adam, I'm forgetting his last name, the guy that plays Uncle Ben. That probably, I mean, he definitely did a decent job as a dramatic actor, someone that's known for not only doing comedy, but really kind of slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
I love him in The Good Place, by the way. I wish I could think besides Adam. It'll come to me in a minute. But This was a movie that, again, it was a character that no one was itching for. By the way, no one's been itching for Craven.
Yeah. Well, it's
You
also
could
been done for 2 years.
yeah. You could make, there's obviously was an audience for Venom. There's an audience for Carnage. You could say there've been an audience for maybe a standalone either Green Goblin or Hobgoblin movie, a Doc Ock movie, Craven, Black Cat. I think you could have sold.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think they're going to see a movie about Catwoman. They're different characters, folks.
Yeah.
Unless you go to the Amalgam Comics, then they're the same person. But this was my number one just because I found, oh God, it was, and I tried. I waited till it came out on Netflix. I went in knowing it was not well received. So I actually went in there looking for kernels of things that I dug, and other than the Ben Parker character,
there's nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So what's your number one, my friend?
Yeah. So just one last thing I want to say on that. It's almost like you have one of the most iconic characters out there. Not to say any names like Snow White. And you have a main actress that doesn't like the story of Snow White.
Yeah.
And is very vocal about how she doesn't like Snow White. And yeah, and then people get mad when they talk about, why are you hiring somebody who obviously doesn't like what she's doing?
Right.
Millions of dollars, because you know it takes 8 hours to get ready for the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is gonna kill. It's gonna kill that. Snow White is dead in the water. The fact that it's still coming out and not going straight to streaming, mind boggles me. Disney just needs to throw it out on streaming, wash your hands with it, and move on to the next thing. Because the live action of Moana that nobody wants either. But let's make a sequel to Moana 2, and then a year later release a live action of some Moana 1, and then the next year release a new
by the way. The sequel is part of a trilogy. Yeah.
And it's made 100. Moana 2 has almost made as much money as Wicked, or more.
Yes.
Yeah. Moana 2 is a good movie for a movie that was going to be straight to Disney Plus. Well done, Disney. You got something back there.
Well, yeah, and you've got, especially with and not that the movie. And by the way, the movie's about Moana, not Maui, right? But but there's something to be said. The reason The Rock is the most popular actor on the planet. Now he's had some stinkers, but there is a guy, and you and I both love professional wrestling.
Yeah.
His ability to just do a off the cuff promo, selling it. He's really active on his socials. I mean, he does a lot of things that make you, whether we're getting a live action version of him or an anime. And let's be real, of all the characters he's played, Maui is basically him. I mean, other than they give him long hair and more ink than he already has, he basically is playing the people's champ. I mean, they even do the thing with the eyebrow, and again, he is my unverified twin in the eyebrow. Which shows a lot of that, his natural charisma, right? So it's not surprising that Moana 2, but you're right. The fact that they are trying to double down between the animated version now, the live action is coming out next year, and then the third part of the animated trilogy that's also coming out. Same deal. I'm gonna be first in line to watch Mufasa because I want to see the backstory, but at the same time, it's like you can only tell the same story from so many different viewpoints, and it just gets old. But yeah, I really, Snow White is really just, it's not going to go well.
No,
it's not going to go well at all. The only thing that I am interested, Gal Gadot, I think is how you say it, as the queen. But yeah, so, other than that, not really.
We got the Snow White movie posters in last week, and it's of the evil queen.
Of course. Yeah. By the way, another movie that I just real quick before I forget my train of thought. Another movie I just happened to be watching. We talk about, you see movies back when they first come out and before a lot of the cast got famous. Have you seen, or at least seen lately, the Tina Fey, Steve Carell movie Date Night? Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's been a while.
So here's the cast just off the top. Okay, so you've got
Okay.
Steve Carell, and so let me see. Look when it came out. It came out in 2010, so almost 15 years ago. And the movie was a hit, by the way. It basically made triple on what it cost to make. So you got Steve Carell and Tina Fey. So and that's the movie, right? But then look at who all were in kind of bit roles. So you had Taraji P. Henson as the detective. You got Common as one of the dirty cops. Jimmy Simpson, who's really underrated, as one of the as a dirty cop. You had JB Smoove. Dude, you had pre-Hulk Mark Ruffalo.
Really?
You had Kristen Wiig. You had Ray Liotta in one of his last movies before he passed away. You had Olivia Munn. You had James Franco. You had Mila Kunis. And in a bit role, she has maybe 3 lines. She's Marky Mark's girlfriend, Gal Gadot.
Really? Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to rewatch that again now.
Just the cast that they had in, and again, this is before a lot of these people were at the level of fandom and stardom that we know now. But looking at the casting, by the way, it's a really good movie. It really is.
Oh yeah.
But you look at like who these people were. Again, I'm gonna say this again. These are and again, the movie is so much about Steve Carell and Tina Fey as it should be. Okay, I'm not criticizing that. But people who had very minimal screen time: Mark Wahlberg, Taraji P. Henson, Common, JB Smoove, Kristen Wiig, Mark Ruffalo, James Franco. So James Franco and Mila Kunis were in literally one scene. James Franco and Mila Kunis together were in one flipping scene. Nick Kroll, who, if you don't know Nick Kroll, you don't know people who are funny. Bill Burr, if you don't know Bill Burr, you don't know people who are funny. Olivia Munn, if you've seen The Newsroom, you know Olivia Munn. And again, Will.i.am is in there as a cameo himself. But then you have Gal Gadot, pre-Wonder Woman, who again is also in one scene. She's also in one scene wearing nothing but a t-shirt. So I
mean, that's worth the price of admission.
I remember. Yeah. So anyway, okay. But we're still talking about your number one, sir.
My number one. Yeah. That is a good lead off. So, my worst movie of 2024.
Yes, sir.
I kept on going back between this and my number 2 and Madam Web and this is Joker, Folly Ado.
Really? Okay.
Joker, Folly Ado, and here's why. Because this one I was looking forward to the most.
Fair.
Out of all the other things on here,
I had
high hopes for Joker because Joker 1 was so good, and then what they gave us
probably gonna have some Academy Award nominations. They probably get an award nomination for cinematography. I could see either Joaquin and or Gaga getting an acting nod. It was an art house movie. It was not so number one. First, if you saw the first, you should not expect the Avengers, but it wasn't what the first one was. But please continue.
And I knew that. I knew it was going to be. They build it as a musical. I mean, I know everything and everything said, but even the music was bad. Everything. The only times that he was the Joker was in the trailers that you saw. And again, like we said, like if all the good parts in the trailer, well, then you got a problem.
And by the way, in the musical part, it was far more. And you would think when you because again, seeing A Star Is Born and really loving A Star Is Born, you have Lady Gaga in it, who is an amazing singer, pop, classic. I mean, she can really sing.
Yeah.
The movie was far more Joaquin Phoenix singing than Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
I really liked her portrayal as Harley Quinn, even they never call her that.
Yeah.
I thought her Harley Quinn stuff, and I think that was my biggest, it didn't make my top 10, obviously. But what my disappointment in the movie, see, that's the thing. I didn't think Joker was bad. I thought it was disappointing. Which is apples and oranges type deal.
Yeah.
I wanted more her. I think we got too much Joaquin, especially in him setting aside like you said, the only part that you see him as Joker is what's in the trailer, which is very small powder. It's really him being Arthur Fleck, right? And resigning himself as Arthur Fleck. If you haven't seen the movie by now, you just deal with spoilers.
Yep.
The ending saved it for me. And then I think we talked about this when we did the pod, but then the other thing of it is I wanted way more Gaga in her portrayal as Harley Quinn. But you and I, this is very interesting, and then I'll hush. Normally, if people listen to this pod for the years plural we've been doing it, you and I line up very similar on a lot of things. But I've noticed this. If we had to drill it down to one character that we have the most differencing of opinions, it's Joker. You really hate it.
Yeah.
His portrayal in Suicide Squad, I loved it in Suicide Squad. Neither one of us loved Joker 2. I think I come out a little more on the positive side than you have. You're more of a fan of the animated versions. I think I'm more of a fan of the live. So it's just very interesting to me that as similar as we are on a lot of our things, and again, I always tell people like, oh, you guys must talk. No, we don't. We really don't do a lot of, because we want to see organic. But if we had to say, if there's one area, one character that we have the most differencing of opinion about, it's just opinions.
Yeah.
Is Joker. Other than I think we both agree Mark Hamill is fucking awesome as Joker.
100%. 100%.
By the way, do it for me. Do it for me, bro. I need it.
Oh, Brian.
All right, my guy.
Buddy. Yeah. So that was good. That is the worst movies of 2024.
All right.
Madam Web is in there. The Joker's in there. Borderlands. We have
some overlap. So, Bradley, would you like to play a game?
Oh, I want to play a game.
All right, I let off with my list. So you lead off with your game. You said you got a new one for me this week.
I got a new game. This is called I'll Bill You Later. And here's how we play.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a movie.
Yes, sir.
And then you're going to have to tell me the top 5 build people in that movie.
Ooh.
And you have to get them in order.
So 5 to 1 or 1 to 5?
You can go 5 to 1. You either way that you want.
Okay, but it's got to be in order. Okay.
You got to have them in order to get to win the game.
When you say build, you mean like if I was to watch the credits of a movie, this would be like how they be billed. Is that correct?
Nope, this would be like how they're billed on IMDb. So if you go to IMDb and look them up, like how would they be billed?
How would they be billed from 1 to 5? Okay. This is a great game. Okay. This is good. This is going to test my nerd.
And are you ready for the movie?
I am very ready. I'm curious to get this. Okay.
And actually, this is not a movie. This is a TV show. The TV show that just came out.
Okay.
So I know you watched the first episode.
Okay.
Creature Commandos.
Damn. Okay.
Who is the top 5? So I'll tell you what. I'll let you name and I'll tell you. You know, if you got them right. I'll tell you if you're missing anybody. And then I'll let you try to put them in order.
Okay. So top build, top 5. This is great. This is a good one because with it being Creature Commandos, by the way, if anyone's not seen Creature Commandos, it's on Max. It's an animated, it's basically the sequel to The Suicide Squad. It's animated. So what makes this even harder is because these are all voice actors, I don't have a visual of who they are. So, for example, in The Suicide Squad, you got Johnson who plays Peacemaker. Pretty straightforward. If I wasn't sure, I can go, I recognize John Cena, right?
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I got to think about who voices who with them. Okay, so, oh, shoot. So, in my head, oh, God, I'm trying to think of, because I can see the opening credits too. So I'm trying to go by the opening credits, but also this is a great game because it's the opening credits. But I'm thinking also like who would be billed, and also who maybe I think is the featured. Again, I watched all of episode 1, about half of episode 2. Who do I think would be featured? So all these different places that the information's coming from. I'm like, who played who? So I already know I'm going to blow this because in my head, the top built person should be the voice actors of The Bride. And I cannot remember the voice actors of The Bride, so I'm just going to skip her.
Okay.
So next up is because he fills 2 spots. I want to go GI Robot and Weasel. So I'm going to go Sean Gunn.
Okay.
Next up after that, I'm going to go. Ooh, I'm changing. Okay. I'm going to move Weasel down to 3. Sean Gunn down to 3. 2, I'm going Alan Tudyk. Because Alan Tudyk, I believe, is which character is he? He's Doc Phosphorus.
Okay.
So I got Doc. So we're skipping 1 right now. Doc Phosphorus is 2 because it's Alan Tudyk, bigger star. 3 is Sean Gunn. Sean's John's great, but his brother also wrote the show, so that's why Sean's there. Oh God. Okay. Top 5. I'm reserving a slot for him right now. David Harbour is Frankenstein. He's at the tail end of episode 1. And I feel like we're looking at the credits. He's like the last person before they show James Gunn. So I feel like he should be in slot 5, but he's a big name. So I want to put him in slot 4. I'm going to keep him in 5. So we got our 5. Okay. So 1 is currently blank. I'm still trying to wrap my brain on who voices the bride. Slot 2, I'm giving to Alan Tudyk, who is Doc Phosphorus. 3, I'm giving to Sean Gunn for being Weasel and GI Robot. 4, I'm leaving blank. 5, I'm giving to David Harbour as Frankenstein, and this is where I'm struggling. So 1 is the bride, and 1 is the merlady. I'm trying to think what her character is. I'm trying to think if I can remember who Nina. She's Nina. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here. So here's my list, and I know I blew it, but here's my top 5 characters.
Okay.
I know I don't know the actors. 1 is the bride. Cannot think of the voice character. 2, I'm giving to Doc Foster. That's Alan Tudyk. 3, I'm giving to Sean Gunn, who's both Weasel and GI Robot.
Okay.
4, I'm giving to Nina, the merlady, who I cannot think of her character of her voice actress's name. And 5, I'm giving to David Harbour, who plays Frankenstein. So where did I fall there? So 1 and 3, I'm gonna have to leave empty, but I think that would be the character ranking. I just can't remember the actors who play them.
Okay. Cool. So you did pretty good. You did pretty good. So 1 is Indira Varma as the bride.
Okay. I know that name. What else do we know her from?
Man, she has been in Star Wars. She's been in Marvel. I think she was in Andor.
I just Googled her. Oh, first off, wow.
Yeah, she's been in a lot.
Just wow. She's in Game of Thrones, if I remember right.
That's right. Yeah, she was the Sand Snake.
Yeah,
one of the the mom.
I mean, talk about someone that. Why would you ever do anything animated? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Indira.
Well, I'm pretty sure we'll get her in live action at some point.
As we should. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So 1, I knew I missed 1. Okay. So, but Bride is number 1 character. Though,
Bride is number 1 character.
Okay.
And 2, you have correct. Alan Tudyk is Dr. Phosphorus.
Yes. Real quick, who would you pick? Alan Tudyk over Nathan Fillion. Who is your favorite of those 2? Because those 2 I feel are, for so many reasons, almost lumped together. So I'm thinking about Resident Alien versus they both were in Firefly.
Yeah.
I feel like they get a lot of the similar type of fandom. But real quick, Alan versus Nathan. Do you have a preference?
I think I used to would have said Nathan Fillion, but Alan Tudyk is just one of the most versatile actors out there.
So flipping good in Resident Alien.
And yeah, so I think that I would rather go Alan Tudyk than Nathan Fillion.
By the way, he's playing GI Robot and Weasel. I'm sorry, no, that's Sean Gunn. Anyway, I love him as that fight scene with him, and obviously it's not a lot of dialogue; it's how it's drawn. But that fight scene between Rick Flag Sr. and I didn't even cast Rick Flag Sr.
No, you didn't.
All right, go for it, sir.
Well, number 3 would have been Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr.
Darn.
That's number 3.
Okay.
Number 4, you said was Nina Mazursky.
Okay.
But in reality, number 4 is Sean Gunn as the GI Robot.
Okay.
And Weasel.
Okay.
Number 5 is Zoe Chow as Nina Mazensky.
Okay.
I can't talk. David Harbour was number 6. So
wouldn't have been the top 5. He wouldn't
you
even been on the
just
list
missed it.
technically.
Yeah, you just
Okay.
missed it. Fantastic. Well
That's
done.
a fun game. We should do more though. That was fun.
Yeah,
That was good.
I had a pretty good constellation too, but I think
Yeah.
I might hold on to that for another time.
Okay. That was
But
fun.
yes.
I really enjoyed that. That made me have to work for it. All right. So it is now your turn, sir. And again,
Yes.
would you like to play a game?
Oh, I want to play a game.
So this is when we debuted our last recording, which is Worst Clues Ever. So similar to our same plot, different characters, is I'm going to give you 3 clues to a movie and see how many of these will it take you. So I have 3 sets of 3, and to see if you, so we're going to do 1 guess per level of question.
Okay.
All right. So again, 3 clues level 1, 3 clues level 3, 3 clues level 3, 3 clues level 3. And in my head, they get easier as we go, but I could be wrong. So we'll see if you can figure these out. All right. So first off, the first set of clues: Johnny Depp, Courtney Cox, Eugene Levy. This is a movie, and that's a movie I know we've both seen. Johnny Depp, Courtney Cox, Eugene Levy.
Okay.
You want to take a guess?
Johnny Depp,
Courtney
Cox,
and Eugene Levy.
Eugene
Now, I didn't say they were in the movie. I just said that things about them are clues in the
right. Okay.
So just give you a little, maybe a baby hint there.
Okay. So when you're telling me these things, for some reason I keep thinking Masters of the Universe from the 80s.
Oh, with Dolph.
With Courtney Cox, but that's not going to be my guess. So I'm actually going to say Sleepy Hollow is my first guess.
Sleepy Hollow is wrong, but there's definitely, you're not far off. There is this movie and Sleepy Hollow do share. I'm probably might have gave you the answer. They do have something in common. All right. Level 2, Stranger Things, Schitt's Creek, and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. There are parts of this movie that are related to Stranger Things, Schitt's Creek, meaning the show Schitt's Creek, and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
And Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Ooh, that one is okay.
By the way, I'll unpack all of these clues for you, whether you get it or not.
Okay. So now, if I'm on the right track with Sleepy Hollow,
you are. You really are.
Johnny Depp, Coraline. Let me think about that a little bit. Coraline, because I think, yeah, I'm gonna say Coraline.
No, but by the Coraline gave me nightmares. The buttons for eyes bugged the shit out of me. Okay, incorrect. So now we get a level 3. This movie has a feature to a goblin. Has to get to a goblin, a vulture, and a Wednesday. A goblin, a vulture, and a Wednesday.
A goblin, a vulture, and a Wednesday. I want to, man, I'm going straight to, I want to say like the Addams Family now, but
similar tone, not Addams Family, but really close.
Oh.
I wouldn't even count Addams Family as a guess.
Are we talking about Edward Scissorhands?
No, but again, you were so close. Here's what Edward Scissorhands, Sleepy Hollow, and this movie do not have in common. They have the same director. See if that helps you.
Okay, so we're talking about Tim Burton.
Yep.
Okay.
So again, Johnny Depp, Courtney Cox, Eugene Levy. There's a similar theme regarding those 3. Stranger Things, Schitt's Creek, and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I'll give you a hint there. A member of the cast of this movie also has a part in each one of these shows: Stranger Things, Schitt's Creek, and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And then finally, there's a member of the cast that has some connection to a character whose name includes the term goblin, a separate character who has the term vulture in their name, and a character whose name includes the word Wednesday. And this movie was directed by Tim Burton.
Oh.
I'm surprised I stumped you. I thought you would get it. Actually, when I said Goblin, Vulture, and Wednesday, I thought I would give it away. I really did.
Huh.
Are you tapping out, my friend?
Yeah, I'm tapping out, man. You got me in this one.
Okay. So
unpack it.
I'm going to tell you, then I'm going to unpack it. Well, okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, after I'm going to pack, then I'll see if you get it with me unpacking it. So this movie, the first set of clues: Johnny Depp, Courtney Cox, and Eugene Levy. So a member of this cast was in a long-term relationship with Johnny Depp. A member of the cast was in a long-term relationship with Courtney Cox, and another member of the cast was in a fictional long-term relationship with Eugene Levy. A star of this cast
Beetlejuice.
not Beetlejuice, but
Beetlejuice.
So Willem Dafoe is currently dating Courtney Cox. Winona Ryder famously was in a relationship with Johnny Depp, and Catherine O'Hara was in a fictional relationship with Eugene Levy. They were in the show Schitt's Creek. Winona Ryder, Stranger Things. Michael Keaton was a production assistant on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and Fred Rogers named him Michael Keaton because his true surname is Michael Douglas, and there already was a very famous Michael Douglas. The story is that Michael Keaton reminded him of Buster Keaton, hence the name Keaton. And then Michael Keaton famously plays the Vulture. Willem Dafoe plays the Green Goblin. And of course, Jenna Ortega plays Wednesday Addams in Wednesday. So the movie is Beetlejuice, by the way, that just dropped on Max as well.
Well done. Awesome. Well, that was a lot of fun. You got an honest ad tonight.
I do. And given that we are recording on December 8th, we're recording a little over a week. By the way, Brad, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Out to our podcast universe, we had a great Thanksgiving. So the day after Thanksgiving is Black Friday, and that's when a lot of people, including myself, do their Christmas shopping. So here is my honest ad for Christmas shopping. Too much money, not enough time. Punches and kicks fill every checkout line. We look for sales in person and online. Unfortunately, our darkest nature begins to shine. We buy for family. We buy for friends. The people we buy for never seems to end. From clothes not worn to books never read, we use money to say things that should have been said. This year, say the words, give the hugs, and share the love instead. And when in doubt, spend this season shopping for things under the bed.
Well done. All right, man. So next week, you want to keep on doing the end of December?
Let's do our best movies. You want to do that?
Best movies. Let's do it. All right, man. So who is your better than us human being?
I want to give it up to my niece, Carissa. She actually just left right before we recorded the pod. She was going to listen. She was going out to dinner with some friends. This is her big one, the 2-1, her 21st birthday. So she stopped by Uncle Brian's house, and we shared a shot of Crown Royal Peach, which if you're going to share a shot, why not make it Crown Royal? And especially if you're going to do Crown Royal, do Peach. So Carissa, her nickname is Diva. Love you so very, very much. I've been privileged to watch you from an inquisitive, strong-willed little child become a phenomenal woman. I love you so very, very much. Happy 21st. Enjoy your day with your family, with your friends. Again, Uncle Brian loves you very much. So she is, not only today, but every day, my better than us human of the week.
Fantastic. And for me, I have to give it up to Leia. She's just being a good kid. Nothing.
Yeah.
No, didn't do anything super special. Just being, making me glad that I'm a dad.
I'm going to pause you there for a second, sir. So you pointed out that She's not doing anything special being a good kid. In today's, we both are parents.
Yeah.
In today's world, being a good kid, being a good person is harder and harder. So the fact that, and by the way, folks have listened to our podcast since day one. Leia's been a part of our podcast. She is fantastic. We love her cameos. She comes in. She's just an authentic, wonderful person. And speaking from the perspective of Uncle Brian, you and your wife and your whole family do just a and Leia do just a phenomenal job. Has been a great, great person. So again, hey, thumbs up to Leia, thumbs up to Carissa, thumbs up for all the people who are just doing a hell of a job, being a hell of a good person, man. So, all right, Leia. Hey, Uncle B loves you as well. So great job out of you, sir. Great job out of her. Great job out of just people, especially at this end of the year where we have so many things that tell us we shouldn't dig each other. We have two young women on top of that are showing us that, hey, the world can be a good place.
Absolutely, every day.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Let's start wrapping it up. Where can we find you?
All right, as always, you can find me on the Book of Faces at Brian Steven. That's what the S actually stands for. Give me a like, give me a follow, give me a friend request. I try and keep my content funny and occasionally weird.
All right. And what did Goonies say?
All right. As always, ladies and gentlemen, our podcast universe, remember, never give up, never surrender, and Goonies, never say die.
All right, so you can find us all over the place, but you can support us at buymeacoffee.com/nerdpositive, patreon.com/nerdpositive, go to PayPal or Venmo at Bradley Butin. I won't say no. I want to thank you for leveling up my awesome and the Brian S. Dennis, where the S stands for Rorschach, and being part of our family. Don't forget to spread the word and help others level up their awesomes as well. Give us a 5-star review. And remember, friendship is like peeing on yourself. Everyone can see it, but only you get the warm feeling that it brings. Every time you feel stupid, you just got a little smarter. By the way, squirrels' cheeks are their nutsacks. Like a flamingo, stand tall. Even if you have no idea what the fuck you're doing. You're the pizza of life. Even when you're not perfect, people still love you. And lastly, remember, after you got the pandemic, you will be nerd positive. Have a good day.
Good.